Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, and you are watching and listening to a brand new episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And today's guest up here is Mr. Lee George. And joining me, as always, our rebellious D and Trav. How you fellas doing today?
Hey, we good. We know what you did there.
Oh, yeah.
Me and D see it.
What are you talking about?
You done almost forgot about your boy.
No, yeah, you know how he does.
About you guys.
Right over us.
I did not forget about you guys. I wanted to do something sweet. I wanted to announce our guest first, and then I wanted to bring it back to you guys. So
okay.
Just relax. Relax, Rondale.
Saving the best for last. It's okay. I get it.
Oh, man. Don't.
Look, I see y'all been secretly DMing, you know?
Hey, stay out.
Try see what's going on.
Hey, look, I told D, I was just like, man, I need to hit this guy Lee up on my own Twitter account because I don't know what Travis be doing, man.
What you mean by that?
Because it's like this dude Lee messaged us. He messaged us like last Wednesday, and then you was just like, "Hey, Lee messaged us." I was just like, "Dang, I never even got the notification."
It's all good. It's been busy for everyone. I get it. I
don't know what they got to do with me though.
All right. Trav, you're mostly on the Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks Twitter, so you should see everything.
Okay, this guy trying to put
know what I'm saying? I mean, it's the truth.
There's some conspiracy together. I get where this is going.
Trav, you know how he does, Trav.
Hey, look, guys, we just starting off. I haven't mentioned JoJo's Bizarre Adventure yet, but I just did, so I got that out of the way. I didn't mention it on the last interview that we did, so. Oh yeah, I did mention it on the last interview that I did.
Of course you did.
I didn't mention it on the interview with Brienne. I didn't mention it at all. You know what I'm saying? But before we get into today's interview, make sure that you like this video, you subscribe to the channel, and you hit that bell button so that way you're always notified when we have new videos here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into today's episode. Lee, thank you for joining us. Thank you for responding to me when I slid in the DMs.
Hey, that's what I'm here for.
Hey, I appreciate it. Hey, I hit this dude Trav up, and I was just like, bro. Like all these voice actors, they retweeted and liked our tweet when we had Kevin up here on the episode, and I was just like, I'm sliding in everybody's DM.
Hey, shout out to Kev though, bro. He
hooked
the boys up.
Shout out
really
to Kev.
Cool dude.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, so like I said, I appreciate you responding to the messages and joining us on today's episode. And like we do with all of our guests, let everybody know who Mr. Lee George is. Tell us your origin story.
Oh, snap. Okay. Born on Thursday, at 1:29 p.m. Afternoon, baby. This is weird.
Nice.
I don't know. I feel like that is a little weird. Like,
isn't it? Everyone's like,
in the afternoon,
like 2 a.m. I was like, no, it's like a little afternoon, like right after lunch.
Oh, God.
I'm from California.
Nice. Came
to Dallas, Texas for college at Southern Methodist University. And then through that, got into anime, got into working at Funimation and,
nice.
that journey. Yeah, it's crazy. It's weird, but, love it.
Yeah.
So go ahead. I was just going to... Hey, I was about to jump right in.
Hey, that's that Key and Peele skit right there.
Hey, look, but the funny thing about it is, it's like me and D were always so polite with it. Hey, my bad. Go ahead.
Hey, man. No, brother. You first. Yeah, brother.
Hey, I'm trying to get like you, man. No, I'm trying to get like you.
Hey,
that's solidarity. That's it. Solidarity.
Hey, we know what it really is, though.
But no, all I was going to say was that, Texas is the voice capital of the world. It seems like that's where everybody goes if you want to get into voice acting. I remember when I was a kid and I found out that Funimation was in Texas, I was just like, dang, if you want to be a voice actor, that's where you got to go. Like, most people that want to be actors, it's always like, I got to get to California. I got to go to Hollywood. Yeah. But it's just like, if I want to be a voice actor, I need to go down to Texas. I need to go down to the South, the dirty.
Listen,
something like that.
Dallas go ahead, you'd be surprised because there are a lot of I come from a theater acting background, and we've got a dozen, maybe 24 theaters down here that are like, reputable and pretty big and
like creditable theaters.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect that to be in Texas, but a lot of folks come down here for school for acting and for stage theater and voice acting that I've learned in the last 3 years. You just wouldn't expect it.
Yeah, and that's shocking to me.
Lee, I want to, like I said, I want to jump right in, man. I got to ask, did you, obviously you grew up, were you a big cartoon and like anything like that? What inspired you to make the transition from performance to voice acting? I mean, was it?
Honestly, I grew up watching cartoons,
yeah, of course.
The big animes for the most part.
Okay.
But, I never imagined that that's something that I would ever do. It just never crossed my mind, And then I came to Texas and went to school at SMU studying theater, and Rico Fajardo, who's also a voice actor, who's in that photo right behind you, actually right there. Yeah. Nice. He's a big voice actor. He's the voice of Lemillion on
nice.
My Hero. Yeah, really cool dude. He also went to SMU a couple years ahead of me, and I guess at the time that Free, the third season of Free was coming out, Caitlin Glass was looking for actors of color, and so Rico reached out to me saying, "Hey, we'd love to get you into audition for this." And I came in, and you think it's a shot in the dark because it's anime. It's like a big anime. And so I was like, I'll come in, I'll audition, I'll be terrible. And, I'll be able to tell people that I auditioned at Funimation.
Yeah.
And so, of course, the thing about it is they don't in theater, typically you get an email if you get a role. They're like, hey, congratulations, you've been accepted for this, or we want to give you this role. For Funimation, at least, in a lot of voice acting studios, you'll get a text message that just says, hey, do you have 2 hours on Wednesday to come in to record? And you have no idea, if you got a role or, if you're just doing bits. And so I come in and I meet Caitlin and I'm geeking out because, it's Caitlin Glass and she was Winry and in Full Metal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, she introduces me to the character that I'll be voicing, and I'm freaking out. I'm about to start crying or something. And it's kind of a Cinderella story. I didn't have to grind like I know a lot of voice actors and aspiring voice actors have to do. It was just circumstance, and she trusted me because I have a theater background, and so I do acting. It's been a wild ride from there.
So what you saying, you born with it, Maybelline style.
Hey, you hit the lottery, man.
Honestly, I feel incredibly lucky, and that imposter syndrome kind of creeps in sometimes. You're I don't deserve it. I don't deserve it, but I'm gonna keep going. You gotta do it for the. That's right. Do it for the culture.
Do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Do it for the vine.
That's right, man.
I ain't gonna do it, but I do it.
So, something I wanted to ask you from what you just said. You said that they were looking for people of color to come in and do these roles at Funimation. Was this a big thing that they were pushing for at the time when you went in? Because, I know when we had Bo Billingsley up here, he told us that, when it came to people of color that were voice actors, you really didn't get a lot of them that were doing voice acting in anime, that is. It was different in cartoons, but for anime, it was way different. So was this just something big that they were pushing for? Because I do want to say that, over the years, I've seen a pretty big spike when it comes to people of color and voice acting. So explain that for me, please.
Well, I think, with any industry, the standard starting out is always that the majority gets the majority of the roles, or 100% of the roles at times. And so I think the standard was that voice actors typically looked and sounded like this, and so for a long time that was just the thing that it was. And so recently, there have been a lot of movements to get more people of color into things, and I think a lot of the directors at Funimation have been acutely aware of that. Them also being voice actors in shows, and so directors like Caitlin Glass and Cliff Chapin and Chris George and Colleen, who does My Hero, have been really pushing to make it more of an inclusive thing. but it's that's a tough and weird transition to make, because it's like, how do you make these calls? How do you put out those audition sheets and say like, hey, we're looking for this? It's weird and it's new, but I'm happy to see it personally, and I think it benefits anime watchers as a whole to hear a more diverse range of what America sounds like. That makes sense.
Yep.
I 100%
it's funny.
agree with you on that.
Yeah, it's funny that you bring that up, Lee. And when hearing you talk about it reminds me of kind of like an equal rights kind of movement, but it's not getting played up like that. But to me, anime has bloomed and blossomed over the last 20 years. Yeah. And it's one of those things, this is very like culture based. It is its own culture at this point. And I think it's interesting that if you think back to how sports were back in the day and stuff, and they didn't really accept you not based on skill, but it was color, to say, I mean, without sugarcoating it. And I think it's interesting what they're doing now,
Yeah.
Something that I wanted to pick up on too, when you were talking about how when you hear certain voices in anime and whatnot, because we had Christopher Dontrell Piper up here, and I remember
everybody knows Chris.
Bro. Yeah, you're the second person we've had up here who knows Chris.
He's a cool dude. He's also a Dallas theater actor.
Yeah.
I've seen him perform.
Nice. He's a great
top
guy.
notch.
He's an awesome guy, man.
Yeah.
And it's like whenever we say his name, it's like a Tribe Called Quest. You have to say the full thing.
Full thing.
So when we had him up here, because like I had told him, I was watching Dragon Ball Super, and I'm a huge Dragon Ball Z fan. I mean, like you can see the pops and everything here in the room. And I remember I was watching Super one night, and I heard Dispo talk, and I was just like, "Yo, like that's a black guy," And growing up, you really didn't. It's like you could tell, when you hear certain voices and whatnot. We was just talking about this. We had Mark Allen up here a couple of weeks ago, and when we were talking with him about it, it's just like sometimes like you could hear people's voices and you would know, like Phil Lamar, for example, or Kevin Michael Richardson. It's like when you would hear their voice, you'd be like, okay, yeah, that's a black guy. But you'd be surprised how many cartoons or anime shows that you will watch where it would be a black character, and it's like you knew that wasn't somebody black talking. You know what I'm saying? For the longest time, when I was younger, when I heard Cleveland Brown talk, I knew that he wasn't black. You know what I'm saying? And then like when I found out who the voice actor was, I was just like, when I was younger, I was just like, well, I wonder why they don't have a black guy that voices him. But then when I got older, I was just like, it's not that big of a deal. You know what I'm saying? But to some people, it is a big deal when you don't have somebody of color voicing that person. And I know Trav had asked this before, when it comes to, people of color in voice acting and in voicing characters that aren't, a person of color. Do you feel like that puts a limitation on, what you can and what you cannot do? Like, do you think that, you should be able to voice whoever when it comes to voice acting?
No, I don't think that's true. Only just because, like Family Guy, for example, it's about a suburban family in Rhode Island, and it's got a universal kind of humor that everyone can get involved in. Mm-hmm. But the thing about Cleveland is he is our gateway into that world.
Yeah. He's
how we like personally identify into whatever the Family Guy universe is. And so like, for a long time, I didn't know that it was a white guy. And when I found out, there was a part of me that was like,
damn.
It feels like a betrayal of self that like you want your people to be your people, if that makes sense. Yeah. It's like, I want Cleveland to be Cleveland, and Cleveland is a black man, and it's, there's no way to skirt around that fact. It's just what he is. And so I think especially when you talk about an industry where a lot of people of color, not just black people, are having a hard time getting in general. Mm-hmm. I think the way that we get in is in these very particular roles that are specifically us. Yeah. That's how we that's how we jump in. You know, in anime, I voice a lot of characters who aren't Black presenting. And for a lot of people, the only way they can get to that point is to, you know, when that Michiko character comes in, or that trying to think of other Black characters, or that, you know, that Jet Black comes in, or, you know, like
Rock Lock on My Hero.
Yeah, it's just I think, yes, as an actor, you want to be able to do everything and do anything, and you want to show your range, but at a certain point, you've got to give everyone that opportunity.
Yes.
You know, and so, yeah, that's my thought.
100% agree with you.
Yep.
One other thing that I was going to say, you know, when it comes to Black characters and cartoons and anime, you know, you do have, you know, not a spike, but it's getting there with anime such as Cannon Busters, where, you know, you have a very diverse cast and you have Black characters on that show, and they're voiced by people of color. And I know Trav has mentioned this before, where it's like, you know, they don't come off like the typical Black person that you might see in an anime. It's like they come off like you and me, like they're just normal people. And I feel like that's a cool thing to see in anime, where it's like it's just a normal person. You know, they're not a stereotype. They're not I can't think of the word, but they're not made to look like a fool, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Right.
You mean, when you say fool, do you mean like the boxer from Dragon Ball? Wasn't he a boxer? The Black guy that Goku?
Yeah, he was a boxer.
Yeah. You mean like that, Banks?
Yeah, I guess you could say, somebody like that, or
and also just to drawn different than the other characters.
Exactly.
Where it's like, why did this person get drawn this way?
Yeah, I know exactly where he was going with that, and that's exactly where my mind went. I'll never forget that guy.
It's like brother from One Punch Man.
Yep.
The Black dude. You know, it's, you get the lips going, and you're like,
come on, we're doing too much.
And
it's
you know, it's.
But it makes you wonder, though. Is it the people drawing it? Are they specifically like, I'm going to make a fool of them, or is it sheer ignorance? It's like, why does it happen?
I don't know.
And what is the reason? Well, that's the thing, you don't know. Like,
because
we won't know.
Yeah, but it's interesting that it's continued at some capacity over the years. They're still doing it. You know, like
it's not as bad as the 80s and 90s.
But it's still there.
But it's still there.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Like,
well, I mean, like it's when we had talked about on the Promised Neverland episode, where Sister Krona,
right?
In the manga, like the way that she was drawn, she was kind of drawn like a Black caricature, but in the anime, they did a better job at not making her look the same. Like she still made the crazy faces and whatnot, which is fine because she was a crazy character. Spoiler alert: if you haven't watched Promised Neverland, but but like they did a better job, because I'll say, because I said this on the Promised Neverland episode, where I'm in this group on Facebook. It's called Urban Anime Lounge, and a lot of the members in the group, they were against reading the manga just because of how the character, like how she looked. You know what I'm saying? Because it looked like, you know, something that was drawn in the 50s and 60s, and you know, I just appreciate that. You know, a lot of people are, you know, putting more people of color in cartoons and animes, and you have these like LaShawn Thomas, like who created Cannon Busters, who is you know, he has a new anime coming out. I can't remember what it's called, but it's with the first Black Samurai, and I believe Lakeith Stanfield is.
I saw that last night. Can't think of the name of it either.
Yeah. So, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna piggyback off of what you were saying, and that's the other thing too. I don't want to come out, going back to Promised Neverland, as me being white, being like telling a person of color that they doing too much when they bring that up. I don't know the manga, but if I was to just go off the Promised Neverland, I didn't personally see the issues, but I don't want to come out and tell anybody how to feel about something they're seeing a certain way. I didn't specifically see anything the way that she spoke, acted, anything like that was offensive to somebody. But I also don't want to be like, you shouldn't be offended at the same time. Because again, if you go back and you look at Naruto Shippuden, they did a fantastic job of bringing in all these different races of people to where everybody was represented. You know what I mean? In Naruto. So kudos to them for really doing that. Now, I don't know how the dubbing went. You know, if those roles went to blacks, I don't know. But I know that drawing wise, they did a good job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe you don't agree. I don't know.
No, I get where you're coming from. I like I said, I feel like it's like you just had to see the pictures of how she looked in the manga to, you know, be like, well, wow, like why is she drawn like that? But again, kudos to the animation team on actually like doing a better job at making her look better than what she did in the manga. I wanted to ask you a question, Lee, because I'm a huge fan of My Hero Academia, and you were up there, and you voiced I can't say his name. What is his name?
Itejiro Toteki.
Itejiro Toteki. Thank you. Now, I read the manga, right? And it's like, I don't know. Do you read the manga?
I've not read the My Hero manga.
Okay, so the manga, excuse me, it's really good. And before you came up here, I looked to see if your character reappears in the manga. So, spoiler alert, he doesn't. So I'm hoping that when he does come back eventually, you know, that you can reprise the role. You know what I'm saying? Because My Hero Academia, in my opinion, is the next big thing, similar to Dragon Ball Z. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have the movies coming out. Season 5 is coming out this month. And to our listeners and viewers, we are going to be doing reviews for it once season 5 drops. But yeah, like, how was it being on My Hero Academia?
I'll say this. Justin Briner, who does the voice of Deku, one of my favorite voice actors just of all time. I think Deku's got a very sincere presence in the show that you don't see in a lot of anime. Like, it's so human sometimes. And so, you know, geeking out about being in a show with a lot of big names that I've been watching for years and years and years was crazy. And then I got the email or the text that was like, hey, will you come in for My Hero? And I was like,
yeah.
Thank you. You know, I played it off gloves, like, yeah, definitely, for sure, I'll come in. You know, and you know, they're very efficient with their time. So they bring you in, they tell you what's going on in the show, introduce you to the character, and so you don't have a lot of time to like really bask in it in the moment. But Colleen, who's the director, very sweet and kind, and
she's another one of my favorite voice actresses.
Incredible. Yep. Incredible. I'm rewatching. This is kind of a tangent. I'm rewatching Detective Conan, Case Closed right now. One of my favorite shows of all time. And I didn't know for a long time that she is the voice of Rachel.
Right.
Oh, wow.
And so I was like, you know, freaking out about that. But honestly, I hate hearing my voice in anything. You know, like, I can't watch myself act if I'm doing a film or a play. Like, I just can't do it. So I personally have only heard it once, and it was to compile like a reel of things that I've done.
Yeah.
But it was so exciting. All of this is like a dream come true. Again, I never thought I would be doing any of this, and then suddenly, you know, I'm a character, a big character, but a character nonetheless in My Hero. And so it's crazy. It's weird. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Hey, Didi, you can go ahead.
I didn't have anything.
But your boy does.
Yeah,
Okay,
go ahead, Trav. Yeah.
Hey, I was trying to pass the ball.
No, I mean, hey, I can't tell.
He can't tell, man. You need to look out for my boy a little bit more, man.
Hey, I mean, I'm waiting. You know,
what
waiting
it
in the wings. I'm over here like this.
It's because the camera's so far away. We don't know what's going on, man. He's so tiny.
Hey, no, I'm not
tiny in there, bro.
Everybody,
Trav, stop, Trav.
Hey, I want to be able to show off my collection. It's like,
I get it.
Trav, I can't see what you got back there.
Look, man.
Hey,
what are we looking
when I
at?
put my collection out, you're gonna tell me to take it down.
Hey, first off,
You just relax.
What I got back there is between me and my mama. All right, my mama gave me what's back there, bro.
Right.
So,
Okay,
you watch
Drake.
yourself. Hey, yeah, exactly.
I got you.
That's right. That's right. I done forgot what your boy was gonna say now.
It's okay. I'll tell you what, it's really funny to see the photos in the background of like things that I've done or like
interviews.
Like
the slideshow?
I'm like, oh my God.
That's just, man, he's trying to butter you up.
Hey, so look, Lee, like I rearranged this room and everything, and I had this TV that was just sitting in the living room, not doing anything, collecting dust. And I was just like, I want to bring the TV in the podcast room, and whenever we have a guest or if we're doing a review for something, I just want to have images on the TV. And it's like all of the guests that we've had up here, like they'll see photos and then they'll just be like, man, I remember when I took that photo. Like, but where did you get that photo from? Like, I be hunting down, man. I'm a photo hunter.
I can tell. I mean, that headshot, I oh my gosh. It's been years. I'll say that. I need new headshots.
But Trav, since we were talking, did you remember what you wanted to ask him now?
Yeah. So, kind of going back to, I guess you kind of saying this is a dream come true, you know, and whatnot. So bringing up more of the upbringing when you started in theater, like, so for me, I really enjoy like theater and play and stuff like that. So was that like something that you watched as how'd you even get into that before you even started the voice acting stuff?
So I went to a boarding school in middle school and high school. So when I was 10, 11, went from California to Massachusetts. Family stayed in California, but I just went to school out there.
Yeah.
And so they had a small theater program, and I didn't have much interest. I was introvert, chunky kid with an afro, and I was just, I didn't know I'll send you photos so that you can like put them up right here to show folks. Like,
hey, Benjamin Banks used to have the fro too.
I did.
Really?
Yeah,
had the fro.
Had the cornrows and everything, man.
Listen, I also wrestled, and so my hair would stick through the like headgear.
Nice.
It was,
hey, bro. Hey, I'm a professional wrestler. You know what I'm saying? I wrestle on the indie. So I'll let you ask Trav's question, and then we'll get to that stuff.
So they had this small theater program. The kind of head director was like, "Hey, we need someone to play a guard in this Shakespeare play." And I was like, okay, cool.
Was it Hamlet?
It was A Midsummer Night's Dream.
Oh, okay.
It would have been really embarrassing if I couldn't remember that, because I
the people that were listening
Shakespeare sometimes. So, but like I wasn't super scary looking. I just had an afro, so I was like, why do you want me to be a guard? But now that I see the photos of it, I got a presence with my like stocky, chunky self. And so I had no lines. I was probably on stage for like 5 minutes. I'd come out, I'd stand there. They'd be like, hey, go get so-and-so. And then I'd leave. That moment was the most exhilarating moment of my life.
That's so wild.
It was just like, there are people watching me. Be still, be confident, do your thing, And since then, went to high school, did theater. That was like my main interests. Didn't do too many sports.
Right.
Not a big sports guy, but I did wrestling and ultimate frisbee.
Hey, ultimate frisbee, no joke though. That ain't like fun.
It's a lot of running.
It is.
You think it's all toss and catch, but it's
no,
you're gonna be dying by the end of it.
And also, if you don't mind, not like skimming over theater plays you were doing. What roles were you doing as you got older? And
oh man, let's see. So my first professional show, I played Tybalt in Romeo and Juliet at the Dallas Theater Center.
Sick.
Which is super fun. Got to be super aggressive, which usually isn't my casting type. I'm very soft-spoken, gentle eyes, and so people are like, he's not gonna play the aggressive type. So that was really cool to do. And I'm trying to think. Cassio in Othello.
Oh man, yeah, Othello's so good.
Othello's a good one.
So Shakespeare Dallas out here. That's not typical casting. Usually Othello is the only black character.
But, exactly. Yeah.
They were like, what if Othello's right-hand man, who he trusts and later, thinks is betraying him, is also of his kind? And what's the racial emotional depth that comes with that. So that was really cool to play.
Well, that's the cool thing about Shakespeare, though. There's outside of people when they're described, there's really no race involved. You know what I mean? So realistically, anybody could come in and play anybody.
Yeah,
it's for the most part.
Yeah, it was wild. I've done one musical. This is kind of silly, but it's not silly. It was really fun.
Yeah.
So
get off your chest.
I gotta tell somebody. So I did a musical in Tennessee, right? It was called The Unusual Tale of Mary and Joseph's Baby. New play, really great music. It basically tells a story, a like realistic depiction of what it might have been like for Joseph to go through the process of trying to believe that his wife was actually, impregnated by the Lord, and like what that does to the spirit and soul.
I didn't even think of when you said the title. My mind did not go to Jesus.
I knew what he was talking about immediately because you growing up, you would always hear those stories, especially if you grew up in the church and whatnot. You would just think, well, how did she get pregnant? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's
and like I'm not particularly religious, and so being able to go to Knoxville, Tennessee, which very religious environment, and everyone was very open about the religion, and not there's no push to try to get you to those things that people are concerned about typically. Very great experience. But so I'm cast as Joseph, super stoked about it. Not really a singer, but I can carry a tune. So my first song is called Just a Jew, right?
Yeah, I just pulled up the album.
And everything was done in very good taste. There was nothing extraneous that might
offend somebody.
And so the song is about being under the rule of the Romans and how you feel like you can't do anything and you're just, this is just me, and I'm kind of lost in my circumstance. But to a crowd of all white Knoxville Tennesseans to see this face come out singing about just being a Jew, they could not compute what was going on. They were like, pardon? Time out. What is this? I mean, they were very cool with it as the play went on, but you could see the malfunction on the faces.
Dude, I can only imagine.
Lee, I wrestled in Tennessee before. And it was me and 3 other guys. We went to Tennessee. The other guy was black. The other 2 guys were white. And we had went to this one gas station where the lady, the dude, Dewan O'Neill, he was a guest up here. He went inside the gas station and the lady was just like, yeah, we don't serve y'all around here. So they had to send our boy Rock inside. Yeah, bro, it's crazy in some of these places. Bro, did you watch Lovecraft Country?
Not yet. It's on I got a list of shows.
Highly recommend it.
It's so good.
Highly recommend it because I'll say that when it comes to television and all of these shows that are coming out, you find out so much stuff that you were never taught. What's the show Atlanta, for example? Me, I'm black. I didn't know anything about Juneteenth until I watched this show. Same thing when it came to Watchmen, where everybody found out about the massacre in Tulsa. Nobody knew about it. Black Wall Street. I mean, some people knew about it, but we weren't taught.
You're not taught in school.
Yeah, you're not taught this. In school, all you're taught about is Martin Luther King and all of the the good black people that have went on to do things. But it's crazy that on Lovecraft Country we learned about the Sundown County. You know what I'm saying? And somebody had made a list of states here in America where they're still considered sundown counties, and it's if you're a person of color and you're there after sundown, it's not as bad as how it was back then. But you know what I'm saying? But you can get arrested, or
it'll be a problem. You have to deal with some BS.
You'll have to. Yeah, exactly. So it's just crazy how, you know, how you said you were performing on stage, and then it's just like all these people are just like, you know, well, what the hell is this guy doing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Mhm.
truly.
So-
And like in Knoxville, there aren't many people of color.
Right.
And so it got to the point in this, you know, 3-4 week run where I'd be walking along the sidewalk and someone would stop their car and be like, I saw you in a show.
Right.
And like, there was no question about it. They would like see the back of my head and they would be like,
must
that
be
has to
him.
be the guy. Yeah, actually.
Oh,
and so that was kind of funny to see. And, you know, I was very fortunate in not experiencing anything, you know, too awful out there during my time. But I was there when our previous president was elected, like the day he was elected. And so you heard stories about, you know, women of color being, you know, approached at like gas stations and all these crazy stories about people feeling entitled and bolstered by the new presidency. And so there was part of me that was like, now I don't want to go out to restaurants alone, and you know, but you know, even after that, they were very like cool and tolerant, and I was very happy about that. By the time I left.
That's a crazy conversation, though. The fact that it's just like they were cool and tolerant, and I'll take it.
Yeah,
you
right?
know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, that's some wild stuff right there. They even have to say that.
Yeah,
Not to get like all.
Well,
crazy,
hopefully,
but-
you know, the world will, you know, come together, you know, like the beat of just one drum. What might be right for you may not be right for some.
Hey.
I don't know if y'all know what I'm talking about.
Look,
Lee knows what I'm talking about.
You.
D, I'm disappointed in you. I'm taking your black card.
Look,
you know, different strokes, man.
Come on, man. You can't go back that far.
the fact that you just assumed I didn't know.
Did
Like,
you know
how
Trav?
come? How
Trav,
come
you
you
know how
weren't?
he does.
How come you
know how
weren't
he
pulling
does.
any of my cards?
Yeah.
Trav,
Look, Trav.
Like, I don't know the damn song.
I mean, hey, well, I saw that head nod.
Yeah.
Just like when we had Brienne on, and you was giving D that head nod. So I knew that you knew, but D was just sitting there.
No, but look, man, Trav, you know he comes
Look,
at us.
No, I see. D hit you with the stone face. Like, come on, bro.
I do that. You know how many times I talk to this guy? He's like, he
no,
references a character.
Hey, don't talk
and
about
I'm like,
the past. Don't we talking about right now?
Don't talk about this morning, damn it.
yeah, don't talk about. And I'm like, come on, bro. He's like, you know, such and such from this, and I'm like, come on.
Hey,
I say that to him like once a day.
Okay, well, let me ask you this, Lee, because
Please,
do you know who Rosario Dawson is?
Are you kidding? Yes, I know who you're saying this is.
This guy.
Remember, Trav, remember?
Yeah, we
amazing.
remember.
Remember
She's
what?
amazing.
D was like, who's Rosario Dawson?
I do not remember this. No.
Thank you, Trav. Thank you. Look at him. You don't know what to do. Trav, you don't know what to do. It's 2-1. Look.
I do not remember this.
How don't you remember this conversation?
He about to sit around in that boss chair.
Because when somebody does something, I don't pencil it in and be like, I'm going to use this against them later. Like you
remember,
You got to. It's good ammo.
Hey, remember we were talking about the Neo Yokio episode, and remember the guy who created Neo Yokio, I believe he's engaged to Rosario Dawson, I believe, and not Rosario Dawson. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was about to say that's a completely different person.
Not Rosario Dawson. Who is it?
Now we're pulling your black card, sir.
Yeah, now I messed up. Who was it? Rashida Jones. I'm sorry.
Rashida Jones.
Oh,
bro.
Rashida Jones. And
yeah, exactly.
D was
still my heart.
D was like,
Seriously.
who's Rashida Jones?
Yeah, I do remember that. But again, you messed it all.
I did mess up.
Yes,
Hey, I'm sorry. Rosario Dawson, if you ever listen to this episode, I love you, and I'm so mad that I got you mixed up with Rashida Jones.
Because guess what? That point don't count. So keep on pushing with the
That's
conversation.
all. That's I was like, I don't know what this guy's talking about.
No good.
I'm sorry.
Hey, and Lee had your back the whole time. He was trying to level the playing field, and you
Listen,
messed up.
I love them both. You know,
It's like
if
they
either
all
of you are
learn.
watching,
Exactly. I
I'm
love them
single.
both.
You know,
Yeah, for sure.
what's up?
All right.
Come to Dallas.
Hey, Maya Rudolph is up there too. I love her too.
Maya Rudolph been taken, bro. So she's
Are
been
you?
married like 20 years.
Oh, I thought you took her. I was just like,
Yeah,
Maya
I was like,
Rudolph?
okay. He was serious about it too. He was like, she's
Hey.
taken.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
I
hit
was
that
like,
off
she's
the.
taken. I was like, whoa, Trav, I'm
He
sorry.
didn't let that breathe at all.
I can't be so lucky. I can't be so lucky.
But,
she's underrated.
She is.
She's very underrated.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, she's been in a lot of stuff, but yeah, she's underrated.
Yeah. But she's never the star of anything. Like
I agree.
It's like her range too. She can do drama, and she's hilarious. Yeah. She's one of the funniest SNL cast members of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah. I always find it entertaining whenever she comes back, because remember she came back and she was doing
when she hit the Aunt Jemima skit with Chappelle.
Dude, that skit's hilarious.
It's incredible.
I'm telling you, as soon as she said, "But I'm Aunt Jemima," I
killed it, bro.
Lost it, dude. I did not see that coming.
Yeah, man. It's always cool when she returns.
Yeah.
Lee, I wanted to ask you, because we were talking about wrestling earlier, were you into watching wrestling when you were younger, or was just wrestling just something that you just wanted to get into? Because I know that there are people who don't watch wrestling, but they wanted to do wrestling when they were in school.
Yeah, definitely. I watched a lot, like elementary school, middle school. I'll tell you this. Actually, we won't talk about that in case, keep the kayfabe. But I love wrestling, and I thought wrestling would be like wrestling that I saw.
Yep.
I was like, oh, we're wrestling?
No,
sir. Wrestle at this school? Okay. I was getting ready to.
No stunners, no RKO, no rock bottoms.
Yeah, like, all right, we're doing the 2-leg takedown today, and I'm like,
I was going to say equal amount of testicles in your face, though. So.
Yeah.
Not untrue. Not untrue. You gotta be cool.
It comes with it comes with the territory.
Yep.
Take them down. But yeah.
Because we just had our second black champion, in WWE.
Oh, hold on, Rondell. You're not gonna say second black champion. You can't discredit The Rock like that, man.
Bro, you're the one who said Kofi was the first.
No, I said Kofi was the first. I said Kofi was the first.
All right, let's go back and play that podcast.
We can. We will. Yeah, we can. I said Kofi was the first African-born champion. That's what I said.
No, you said he was the first African-American champion.
I think we got you backed up in the corner this time.
Hey, well, pull it up.
But regardless, Kofi is the first African-American champion.
Yes.
No disrespect to The Rock or anything like that, but he's not African-American.
He is.
Look, bro, he's Samoan.
That's
what he
mixed.
reps. That's
He's
what he
mixed.
reps. That's what he claims.
He's mixed.
That's his family. We giving it to Kofi. Man. Kofi having this one. It's Kofi.
Yeah, Kofi
the first.
So.
Trav, just relax, man.
Don't take it away from my boy like that.
Just relax.
Kofi Kingston was too damn hard.
Hold on, Rondell. Look, when Bobby Lashley won the title, WWE put that photo up. You had The Rock, you had Kofi Kingston.
Of course they did. It's WWE.
You had Bobby Lashley.
It also took him 90 years to put the belt on a black man before. So whatever they do, I don't care. Their opinion don't count, bro.
I'm enjoying this.
I'm enjoying all of this. Like, you getting worked up. Just relax.
You're damn right.
Might get this man some water. Take a sip, Trav. You got it.
Drink some water.
Bro, I'm just saying, Kofi Kingston started out as he had to pretend to be Jamaican with an accent, bro.
That's true.
I mean, we're talking about it. It don't get much more racial than that. The only thing more racist that they've done is Crime Time.
Yeah.
With 2 black thugs, and that's their gimmick.
Yeah.
So whatever WWE does on that poster,
what about the
matter? It don't matter.
And we got the Hurt Business now.
Yeah, but would you put the Nation in that? The Nation of Domination? Would you put that in that conversation, Trav? With things that they've done?
I never considered
the Nation of Domination
racist. If anything, it was probably one of the only positive black things they've done.
Exactly.
Didn't they come out wearing like African colors though?
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
But in all fairness,
nothing. But I mean, it's very gimmicky. Is that not?
Nah, I wouldn't say it is.
Right.
I think it just depends on whether it was their gimmick or if they were told they needed a gimmick.
That's
true. That's true.
I mean,
that does make a bit of difference.
Look at New Day when they first started. I mean,
they had the church outfits.
They were like, They were just like, go out there and be a black church. You know
they had the gospel singers.
Dude, they were like, sing loud, clap loud, be crazy. You know what I mean? It's crazy, dude. So you over here talking about you saw their poster. F their poster.
Hey, just relax, man. Hey, look, hey, we coming along, man. It's like I'll say, you know, I was happy when Bobby Lashley won the title, but I was more happy when Kofi won the title just because of the build up to it. Because remember, we were all in the same room together when Kofi won, and it was just a historic moment. And
people were crying.
Yeah. I remember, like, after we watched it, it's just like the rest of the pay-per-view. It's like we were dead.
We were dead. Pretty much all the emotion was drained, bro. We were
dead. Yeah. So, hey, Lee, who were some of your favorite wrestlers growing up?
Great segue.
I like that. That means snowball.
Oh man. Let me think. I felt this like not unusual. I think it's very understandable. Connection to the Undertaker. I was like, you know, there's just something mysterious about that, like that whole vibe. Rashiki, because you know, I was like, there's something novel about his approach to wrestling.
Yeah.
The Rock, of course. Booker T.
I like this list so far.
Yeah.
I like this list.
Booker.
Now, you talking Booker T in WCW or Booker T in WWE?
WWE.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Now, I want to stay right here, guys. Let's go around real quick. Banks, who was your favorite growing up? I don't think I've ever asked you that in our life.
Oh, I already know this.
The Rock.
The Rock, man.
The Rock was my favorite growing up.
This is why this dude was attacking me over what I said about The Rock.
The thing is like The Rock is like, of course, you know, I grew up, I watched Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage.
Of course, we all
But it's like The Rock is what really brought me back into wrestling. Like, he made me want to watch it again. So The Rock will always be my favorite. I mean, like, that's the reason why he's my All Might and I'm his Deku. It's The Rock.
I like
all day.
Hey, but he don't know it. But he don't know it. So
he'll find out.
What's your answer, Trav?
As far as wrestling goes, man, look, it changed. But for me growing up, it was probably Shawn Michaels.
Oh,
growing
that's my second. That's my second.
I was like, man, this dude is a stud. I mean, you know what I mean?
He was very electric too, man.
And then Chris Jericho came along and took it for me, dude. And Chris Jericho's just always been
hit that lion tamer,
my guy. But again, I love The Rock too. I've seen all The Rock's movies. You know,
even the Tooth Fairy.
I've
never seen.
He's pretty damn good. Actually,
it is good. The Tooth Fairy's good, dude.
I've never seen it.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
Seriously.
It's not.
You know, I'll say
the worst thing he probably did was what is that? Jumanji? I'm not a fan of that.
I haven't seen
Jumanji. I love it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
It's not like the classic, Trav. I'll take the classic all day, man. I don't know.
You know, it's different. But
I think it's just a project. That's not necessarily him.
Right.
Yeah.
So that goes into kind of what Banks was saying earlier about stereotypical black movies, where, you know, back when we grew up in the 90s, most black movies were really in a box as far as what the content could be about. Yep. Because it was either like real life, what goes on in the black community, boys in the hood type stuff.
Yeah.
Or it was a ridiculous comedy. You know what I mean? That was filled with like stereotypes. Yep. But then you started having these emerging stars where...
You mean like Denzel?
I was about to say Denzel was probably one of the first ones. And then a couple other people came along. But that changed that thinking, changed that mindset for what it could be.
Yeah. Would you guys all consider Denzel? I know it's kind of snowballing, but would you guys consider him a pioneer of change? For the culture?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Because I don't care if you're white, Chinese, you know, black, whatever. You ask somebody, what do you think about Denzel Washington? They're going to say, he's amazing. He's amazing. Yeah. It doesn't matter who you are. Yeah. Denzel's amazing.
I agree.
I like that.
So that kind of, you know, get back into the voice acting stuff, because I know we took a mean snowball. But
hey, sometimes you got to talk about things, bro.
This is what you walk into when you come on the Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks.
I get it.
You know, we get this from a lot of our guests, where it's just like, we're not just going to sit here and ask you questions about, you know, your career, because we just feel like when you come up here, it's like Olive Garden, your family. You know what I'm saying?
I like that.
I love that.
Especially since you throw in, the coming word around a lot, bro. I'm gonna need you to settle down.
I don't get what you're saying.
I'm trying to throw that's what she said bombs at you, but you're trying to skim past it real quick. So I don't have.
You gotta pick up on it, man. You gotta.
He's excited tonight, Trav.
Hey, you gotta be like the Flash, man. You gotta tap into the speed.
Please, let's not.
And I'm not talking about
Flash today.
I'm not talking about the comic book Flash. I'm talking about the CW Flash. That's
Hey, you got to get the speed back first, please. Just relax.
All right, but Lee, so what are some of your favorite projects that you worked on?
Oh man, so I got to be the titular character in that show right behind you. It's so crazy how when I talk about something, it pops up behind you. Yeah. It's like freaking me out.
Now he set it up that way. He's crazy.
I know.
Yeah, he's like, and click. And that was a crazy, text message to get. That hey, we liked your audition for this. You're it.
I bet it
and
is.
There's something scary about it because it's you are not the face but the voice basically of the show, right, in a way. And so the days leading up to my first session, I was like having anxiety, not actual anxiety attacks, but you could feel the heart beating really fast because you're like,
for sure.
Here it comes.
That's what she said.
Hey, we did it at the same time.
That was intentional. I let you guys know. I'm sad that I didn't think of it. But so that was a great project. Fortunate to have gotten that role. Listeners, which is one that I think kind of flew by under the radar. It's very musically involved. It's got mechas and a lot of influence from Jimi, Hendrix, and Prince, and a lot of
I saw that
rock bands and people. It's really cool. If music is your thing, I think it's something that people will really tap into.
It looks real good.
But I got to voice anime Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, which was
sick.
Ridiculous. Things that you never think you'd do in real life, but you get to do in anime. So that was really cool. And Smile Down the Runway. I played To Aino right behind you. All right, you're doing this on purpose.
Actually. Hey, hold. My laptop's right here. Hold up. It's just.
I'm half convinced now.
It's just sitting here on the ground.
That's fair.
Yeah, he showed nothing. He showed nothing.
It's like, look, I just got. Oh, well, there's the mouse. But this mouse is for the laptop that's in front of me.
We believe you because you never lie about anything or troll anybody.
Like George Washington, I tell the truth.
Huh?
George
Washington.
I cannot tell a lie. That's what he used to say. I cannot tell a lie.
Oh, I thought Honest Abe was the one that was.
Nah, just like your boy Bill Clinton said.
What'd he say with that saxophone? What'd he say?
I can't even remember what he said.
I'll tell you what he said.
Oh yeah, he didn't have relations. I did not have relations with this woman. Yeah. So yeah, I'm telling the truth.
That's right.
But go ahead, Leah. We're sorry for taking the ball from you. We're sorry.
These are amazing. So To Aino, it's a Smile Down the Runway, a show about fashion, which is something that I'm not particularly versed in, and so I learned a lot just through my lines about bias cuts and things that
Yeah, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah. At this point, I don't either. But it was really cool to do. Those are some cool projects I've gotten to do.
Nice.
So,
nice. Oh, go ahead, D.
Yeah, Lee, keeping with the voice acting, I do have a question that I don't think we've asked anybody before. But when you don't live where, I guess, how does it work when you get a job with a certain company and you don't live where their main facility is? How do you go to a certain recording studio when in normal times, not necessarily COVID? How does that work?
Well, I don't think I've had to do that. I typically record with Funimation
Yeah.
Or Okratron that's in Plano, or Studio Nano that's also in Plano.
Okay.
But what I assume the process is that if you've got a home studio, they'll just source connect through there. And if they need to set up studio time, there are plenty of places that are available for that you can just schedule out for a couple of hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just curious because I don't think we've ever asked it.
I was going to say that's what Christopher Donchell Piper, former guest, that's what he kind of did. They sourced them out to other studios.
Yeah.
So basically, if you don't have to live anywhere in particular to get a job, basically.
I think it would help.
Obviously.
COVID is teaching us that, we are capable of doing these things remotely. It just, it depends on the efforts that the studio wants to put in. And, so we'll see post COVID how that all stays in.
The transition goes back.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
For sure.
So they still keep it on the voice acting thing. What are some animes I know that you've done a lot of animes. Like, are there any cartoons that you would like to lend your voice to?
Oh man. That's a good one. No one's asked me that one before.
And it's crazy because when I think about all the voice actors that we've had up here, most of them have just done anime.
Yeah.
They really haven't done cartoons. So yeah, it would be interesting to hear your take on that.
Is it almost like that's a completely different field?
In a way. I mean, I don't know much about this because I haven't done it. But there's prelay, and so it's with anime. There's a lot of having to match the flaps, and so you like adjust the script to make sure that you have the right amount of syllables, and it's all that technical stuff. But typically with a lot of cartoons, you can just deliver the line and they animate to your voice, which is really convenient. And if I ever get the chance to do that, I think I will relish it. But I don't know, cartoons it's been a minute since I've watched cartoons, like cartoons nowadays. I mean, looking at that poster behind you, I'm looking for a reboot of the Boondocks. Like that's
common.
That's what I'm trying to, I'm trying to get on that Regina King tip, and she's also one of my favorite voice actors.
Oh yeah.
Regina King,
she's great in everything she does.
Absolutely,
100. Yeah, talk about somebody who when they started in the 90s, they were always like a background character or a small supporting role, and to grow into what she is now and what she does and the awards that she's won, and just being on like big shows like Watchmen. What I'm saying?
I mean, she wrote on Watchmen, right?
That I can't remember if she did or not. I would,
because I know she just came out with her first director movie, One Night in Miami, which was phenomenal. If you haven't seen One Night in Miami, I highly recommend.
I believe that she's supposed to be directing and writing a show that's supposed to be on the CW. It's supposed to be a superhero show or something like that. I remember reading about. So, but yeah, pinky's up for her because she's come a long way. You know what I'm saying? Like anybody that they start off small and then they grow into.
Well, I wouldn't say small, dude, because like.
She did. I get the role.
I get what you're saying, background character wise, but her first movie's Boys in the Hood, dude. I mean,
but she was just a background character.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
But now Friday, for example, Friday, she did more on Friday than she did in Boys in the Hood. And Boys in the Hood, she was just a background. I mean, she wasn't a background character, but she became a meme 20 years later after Friday. I'll say it like this: she wasn't a character in the background at the Max. She was a character in the Max that was a background character that had a few lines, and then she would go her own way. That's what she was.
Okay.
Wait, she became a meme?
Yeah, remember the Dana memes from Friday?
Yeah.
I don't think I saw Dana.
What
memes.
was the saying on the meme banks?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
The only memes I really remember from Friday is just the Bye Felicia.
Right.
That's right. It was by Felicia. Okay.
Come on. So you got Dana and Felicia.
No, I didn't get Dana and Felicia mixed up.
Look, he's nitpicking now.
I'm just saying, man.
He's trying to throw it off of somebody else because he majorly messed up.
Yes, he did. He thought he had me, and I slipped away into the night.
I see you slipped away. I see.
Take it, eat wool, bro. What's that mean?
I see you.
Hey,
Let's talk about it.
What it mean, Playboy?
Let's talk about it. Let me get this mic. No, just kidding.
Redemption.
Redemption.
But yeah, but Lee, I mean, it was cool having you up here, man. You know, thank you for. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, man.
I only have one more question for you if these guys don't have anything else to add.
Oh, you go first and we'll bring it in.
Okay. Go ahead. Cool. I'm just making sure because I asked you earlier. He was like, hello? Like,
no, I know. This guy was going for like 30 minutes and he's like, hey, you got anything? I'm like,
I'm just making sure.
I appreciate it.
Usually,
look, he's trying to carry down.
Usually we have a guest up here, and then I'll be like, "Hey, D, you got anything?" And he'll be like, "Yeah." So I wanted to ask you this, but this is the first time.
I thought you had. You're smiling. I know you're happy to be Lee.
D,
Lee, thank you so much.
D, this is the first time
you've been talking about you all week.
This is the first time that I passed the ball to you, and you was just like, "Huh?"
Okay, Carmelo. Anyway.
Oh,
ball hog.
This man, he don't watch basketball.
Oh yeah, you're right.
He don't get the dig.
No, I do get the dig.
Okay,
we'll talk about this off camera.
Anyway, Lee, what is some advice that you would give to anybody that would love to get into voice acting?
Never give up.
Stay strong.
I like it.
Dun, 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 dun.
I think there's a you feel like you have to have 1,000 voices to be a good voice actor. And I think my advice to anyone who wants to do it is get to know your instrument and let that tell you how to get into this.
I like that.
Yeah, I do like that.
Don't push beyond your boundaries. Like, know yourself, know what you can do, and
nice.
I'm gonna have to put that dramatic Hans Zimmer music behind it.
Bro, hey, Lee, I don't know if you watched. I don't know if you watch Desus and Mero, but you know, it's like on their show, whenever they have somebody say like something that's motivating or give advice, it's a rainbow that goes.
Yeah.
When you said that, I was just like, man, like I wish that we could just have like a rainbow.
Little animation, yeah,
just go out because I mean, like that was some real stuff, man. But yeah, thank you for that.
Of course, thank you guys for having me. I really do appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Now, D.
Yeah, Lee, I just want to say, I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you go ahead and get out of here. This guy, I'm not gonna let him hold you up anymore. You know, I got to get the final punch in. So, thanks. Go ahead, take us out of here. Trav,
you really didn't have a question?
He's just trolling you.
He's just trolling this entire time.
Look at him.
Hold on, man. Let me turn the lights on.
Is he powered up?
No, powered up.
What's going on, man? I thought you really had a question.
Well, bro, I tell you what. If you really want to get serious, move that camera closer and let them know what you really want to say.
I don't need to.
Let them know what you want to say.
Because like that, now everybody can see everything clearly. Like the song, I can see clearly now that the rain is gone.
What song is that?
Hey, Lee.
I don't know that song.
Thank you, Lee. I
don't know that song, Banks. You might want to pull my card.
I have to deal with these guys every week, man. You know what? I got one more question for you. Do you watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure?
Come on.
I don't. I knew this question was coming. And I've been dreading. We
all did. You're not alone, Lee.
I'm not disappointed.
You're not alone.
I'm willing to. I'm not. You know, one of those like I won't watch. I'm willing to. I just need to do it.
Well, Lee, why don't you DM him the good chapter that you didn't tell me and Trav about? Like, what is it, 4?
Yeah, don't watch 1, don't watch 2, don't watch 3. I guess start with 4.
Season 4, chapter 3.
Here we go. Well, all right. Well, okay. How do you feel about One Piece?
I love it.
Hey! Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
Lee,
backfire.
No. Let me put the condition on. I haven't watched a lot of it, but I keep getting bit parts on it, and for that reason, I love it.
Exactly.
I like that.
I take that.
Hey, I'm happy for anything that brings you the moolah.
Thank you.
Hey, Lee, again, thank you for joining us up here. Before we let you go, tell everybody in social media land where they can find Mr. Lee George at.
You can find Lee George at LeeGeorge23 on Twitter. I don't know why I got my light skinned face on.
He pulled a Birdman. He was like,
Birdman wishes.
I said it already.
Oh man, Lee George 23 on basically everything.
Nice.
Nice.
I like that.
That's good.
Keep it
That's
simple.
Good.
Is that 23 because of MJ?
Of course.
No,
right?
but it should be. It's my birthday day.
Oh, snap.
Oh, when's your birthday?
Is it,
September 23rd.
Wow, that's my brother's birthday.
Really?
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Yeah,
That's wild.
That's crazy.
good luck. It's crazy.
What time was he
luck.
born?
real talk. Hey, real talk. When we first started doing these videos, like I used to have my setup in the dining room, and my brother used to always
People
walk.
just walking in the background.
He would
He's
walk
moving
back and
furniture.
forth. So guys, I don't know if y'all saw this, but like when Lee was talking, like somebody walked in the back.
My
And I was
roommate
like,
came
that's
through.
my brother.
Yeah, his brother did that to him. Our whole
Bro,
first
all the
video.
time.
It's like
That's
bro,
amazing.
man.
What's
It's
he
like,
doing?
bro, man.
Bro, man.
It's like, how you-
I was like,
Bro,
"Hey,
man.
somebody's got your TV, bro." What's that guy doing?
Oh God, D, let them know where they can find you at in social media land, man.
That's gonna be rebellious _D. Trav died it. Look at him. Let me get my man a minute. Get the water, Trav.
Yeah,
You got the
drink
water.
some water, man.
I'm
Drink
just
some water.
saying, man, between this dude said he got like extra light skinned and just
Yeah, he was rubbing. He
Oh
was pulling the
my
bird,
God.
man.
Hey,
I'm watching
thanks.
too many TikToks. That's what it is.
Thanks. What our guy on Black Lightning say? I can't breathe.
Oh God,
Lee,
do you watch Black Lightning?
I have not watched it.
Should.
I've
It's
not
great.
watched it.
It's great for our
Put it on.
culture.
It's on the list.
It is great.
It's on the list.
It's great for our culture. I put
But
it
that
just like
episode that we watched, they did that man dirty.
that. Yes, they did.
They did. The guy, this guy, like he's a very big guy. He's a very fluffy guy.
Yes,
Yeah.
very fluffy.
And when I mean fluffy, I mean
we get it.
very fluffy.
Like fat boys. The fat boys are
He's a
back.
big guy.
Like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just like that. So he was second in command in the gang that he was a part of the 100, and the cops, they swarmed all of them, right? And he was the only one left standing. So it's just like he starts running, and I'm just like,
Come on,
why is
bro.
he
Where you
running
going?
for?
yeah, it was just really, really.
It was
I think
like-
it was bad,
It's like,
right?
I feel. It's like,
Yeah,
I
no,
feel like
come on.
I feel like they was fat shaming him, man, because it's just like why did he run? Like he should have just stood there. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then he falls down on the ground, and he's just like, I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Y'all
Nah.
wrong, bro. Y'all
Yeah,
wrong.
dude, that is
But
a
no,
bad scene.
But this is the kicker. And then the detective, he's just like, man, I ain't even doing anything.
He basically walks up to him laying on the ground.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
man, I'm not even touching you.
I'm not even touching you. The reason why you can't breathe is because you fat. I'm just like, come on, man.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Bad
he's
writer.
like, why didn't he just stand there? You know. But anyway, D, tell me where they can find you on social media.
Well, it's like for a while folks were talking about American Horror Story
Oh yeah.
and like the actress who played Precious
Yeah,
was in
Precious.
it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, again, it's that thing where you don't accommodate to your actors. And so there's that thing where they're like up against a wall and she's the only one who's not flush up against the wall.
Yeah.
And that was like a point of conversation for like weeks and weeks and weeks because people are like, why they do that girl like
Why
that,
did they do that to her?
Yeah, like
I don't think
Be
there's
good
any
to your
ill
people.
intent though in either
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
there was
Yeah,
no
you just
evil
gotta be-
intent.
Yeah, but you got to be careful when you're.
Right,
I know
right,
they're
right.
going to
Think
do
about
what they
it.
do, just like
Yeah.
the way we're depicted, or African Americans are depicted in manga.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to happen. But you can find me at rebellious _D23 at Instagram.com.
Right.
Trav?
Hey, one stop shop. Where am I at? Instagram. This guy done messed me up.
Oh man,
You
you
put
over
on the
there
red
playing with
room?
the light.
Come
Yeah, I
on,
was
bro. What are you
like-
doing?
I thought Michael was in there.
Jeez. So yeah, Instagram at ZK Audio and Benjamin
That's right.
Banks.
You can find
Young
me,
Benjamin.
your hero, Benjamin Banks at King Benji _Banks. That's on Twitter and Instagram. You can look me up on Facebook at Benjamin Banks. I should be the first person to pop up. If not, then I need to contact Mr. Zuckerberg. Lee, thank you again for joining us on today's
You
episode.
better thank him for laughing too.
Thank you.
At that.
This
Thank
is
him for
amazing.
laughing at
This is
that.
amazing.
Right.
Hey, we appreciate having you on, man.
What-
for
Oh,
real.
I had a blast.
absolutely.
Yeah, hey,
Appreciate
we
y'all.
wish you nothing but success in your career,
Yeah,
man.
man.
Thank you.
Good luck,
Likewise.
You're welcome. So like I always say, Keep them pinkies up. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Hey, I like how you adapted my
I've been doing
my
that.
John Cena salute. Come on, this guy.
Trav, come on. This guy, look at him. Trav had that, babe.
This guy.
Thank you for watching a brand new episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Make sure that you hit that like button and you subscribe to our channel. Hit the bell button so that way you're always notified when we have new content on our channel. Make sure you check out our podcast where we release new episodes every Tuesday and the video of that episode is uploaded on Friday. And you can find new episodes of our podcast on all podcast platforms. Make sure you follow all the Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks social media accounts at Leveling Up Banks on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Also, we have a Patreon. If you're feeling generous and would love to donate to us, it's at Leveling Up Banks. And huge shout out to our patrons. We really appreciate you and thank you for the support. We'll see you next time on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks.